You're operating a website, the PickinSplinters.com. It's entirely high school. And yet, what's the dynamic? The daily newspaper seems to be doing a little bit less of everything. Your website's kind of taken off. Where does high school sports fit these days? Maybe because compared to where they used to.
Based on my viewership, it's fitting well. And I'd like to thank all the readers out there who keep coming back every day. There are a bunch of different ways to look at how high school athletics fit. And I'll just go with one, baseball. Next year, Section 5 will have 9 kids on the field who already have Division I commitments. I don't know if we've ever had that. Have we ever had that many?
No, not especially in baseball.
And they're going to join, I think we have 15 kids who are already playing Division I baseball. And we have 10 former baseball players who played affiliated baseball this year.
Yeah.
Including, we got Greg Cullen going from McQuaid, was the leading hitter in the country at Niagara, and then he gets drafted by the Braves. Chris Bostic, when's the last time we had a player from Section 5 play on 2 different major league organizations?
Where did you go to high school?
Aquinas.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
But in terms of getting people interested, you were talking about how difficult it seems to be to get people invested in all of this from the outside.
So there's 2 different types of people who would pay attention to high school sports. One being parents, people in the mix. While their kid is playing a sport, they're invested in the whole sport, as in they're a hockey parent and they know all the Section 5 teams and they watch for that, or they watch for their own kid. We have never been a community that's been the other one, which is the Texas football community, where there's 30,000 people at a game and people are locked in. We've had moments of that in different sports, maybe like McQuaid basketball during that one stretch when they were nationally ranked.
And they're isolated moments.
It's isolated moments. I think it still takes that to get, again, difference for what Paul's doing, very specific on that. And we have our website that includes high school sports. But in terms of getting people to choose, on a newscast, like on Channel 13, we show a lot of high school sports, but it is still for a general audience to try to get them connected. And certain sports still connect more with others from that perspective. And that would be football and hockey, and even like girls soccer, which has become much bigger in Rochester over the years, especially going back to Abby's time. So I think it's 2 different things. There's interest in a broad base in high school sports, but then there's a question, media-wise, are people tired? Do you ever get people talking about high school on your show?
Well, I mean, I don't want in the break
Unless
room.
you take a shot at Aquinas, right? Then everyone comes up.
Which I would never do. But I will say this, and I know you have your numbers to back your things up, but I find myself going weekly to Pickin Splinters now. If you could work on your writing, I'd appreciate it, Kevin. That was great. But no, the talent in this city, not just for baseball, but the kids that are getting D1 scholarships playing football and hockey and lacrosse and the girls soccer that you brought up. It's an exciting time. I'm finding myself now following these kids that played basketball here to their prep schools if they go, then on a D1 basketball. And I'm proud, even though I have nothing to do with these kids. I, at 32 years old, and this is going to sound really weird, have way more of an interest in high school sports than I did when I was playing high school sports. And I don't know if that's me being a weirdo or there's been so much success that it's exciting to follow.
Yeah, it's funny because if there's one thing that's always been said that Rochester does well, it's like when somebody makes good, we grasp onto them and, hoist them up like nobody's business.
And that should be a reason why we go out. And that's all those numbers, all those, the reasons that we bring up those things. People should be, not necessarily Texas, we're not the size of Texas, so we can't expect those numbers. But we should have full gymnasiums for basketball this year.
Yeah.
We really should.
Well, there's a lot of talent, but that's the difference. Does the general sports fan choose to say, I'm going to go watch this sport? Again, that's a different argument than us having success as a section in different sports and talented kids and going on to play in college. The other one is the interest from the general public in those sports. It does happen sometimes. There's people that'll go to the Section 5 basketball tournament because it's good basketball and they enjoy seeing the competition, but there's that draw too. And again, maybe we'll never be there. Maybe that's not that important to most people, but it is something when you're looking at the overall place for high school sports in this area.